Welcome back to Soccer Cards United. It's episode 209 of the greatest soccer card podcast in the world. My name is Jason. That's Enzo. Hi, Enzo.
Hello, Jason.
How are you?
I'm alright. I'm actually sick. I'm hoping this is not a terrible audio experience for the people out there. I am recovering, I would say, at this stage from a pretty bad cold.
Yeah, I have some sort of flu as well. So it's illness has come to the Soccer Cards United.
Yeah, I mean, the weather's been crazy. It's been snowing, it's been sunny, it's been rain, and it's been a bit of everything. So I think that's
our little immune systems don't know.
We cannot handle it all.
Yeah,
but yeah, not great, not fantastic, but we're getting there.
I've been taking some tablets or pills, I guess, are American
pills. I can't take pills, famously.
No, neither could I for a long time, and I don't know exactly what they're for. But this is the.
I feel like I'm in America, and this is an advertisement.
Yeah, I'm not gonna. I'm blocking out the brand so that you can't see what it is. But
brilliant. There's caffeine in it.
It's for kind of generally just
the head
cold, maybe.
Yeah, like I only have sinus issues and a headache. My throat is perfectly fine.
Okay, yeah, you got that kind of like you feel like a little weight behind your sinuses.
Yeah, I keep sneezing and stuff like that, but my throat is clean as a whistle.
That's good to know. At least you have that. So you have your voice as a podcaster is the most important thing.
It's not. I think we've only ever done one podcast where I properly had a frog in my throat, let's call it, and we got a few complaints about the audio experience. So no, it's just a bit nasally, I suppose.
Fair enough. Let's crack into it.
Yes.
There was a big upheaval in the Topps product lineup this week because Bundesliga International Stars came out and they moved away from what has traditionally been the design of it. Traditionally, it's been like, people's country flags and stuff. But this is a more Simplicidad.
That's exactly what I thought. When I seen it, I said, this is very Simplicidad vibes.
I mean, it's almost... you do see an England flag there in the back.
Exactly that. It's nice.
But it does seem like it's...
So the flag's actually faded into the background a little bit. Well, that one's
kind of. Yeah.
I
think it's a good design.
No, it is. Apparently, it sold out very fast as well. I was hearing some people actually complain, saying, "Oh, this sold out," which doesn't normally happen with Bundesliga products in this day and age. Paxton Harrison there, autographs.
Wow.
The American
Jeremy Frimpong, maybe one of the players of the season there in the Bundesliga.
Leverkusen are having a time.
What a time they're having. Victor Boniface, what a time he's having.
Unbelievable.
Veghorst. Look at that. I saw, I think it was Roland Salah or whatever, the coloured text I like.
Yeah, no, it's a really nice redesign.
It is a really nice redesign. I just wanted to give it a little shout out because it's like, it's hard to, I guess, do these sets kind of year after year, and they've...
Look at 70 cards, 30 cards per package. I think if you're a Bundesliga fan, you're very happy.
Especially if you're an international Bundesliga fan. You want to get your Swiss Bundesliga fan. You want to get your Granit Xhaka auto. You
want your fix.
So there you are.
I mean, do you think that we're seeing a Grimaldo autograph, one of the players of the season as well? Do you think the Leverkusen fans and collectors out there are having a time with this kind of year? I think we're not deep enough in. At least I'm not. Do you think it's having an effect on the Bundesliga releases that the Leverkusen collectors maybe are collecting a bit more this year because it's they're going to win the league potentially?
Well, they must be, because usually by this time of year, and obviously probably Dortmund fans would disagree, but usually at this time of year, it's kind of like, all right, another season of the Bundesliga in the books.
Congratulations, Bayern. Yeah, you see Muller with his giant pint.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. But I think the general increase in interest in the Bundesliga this season is doing a world of good to interest in the league and maybe interest in the products as well. Surely, if you're a Leverkusen collector, you've never won the Bundesliga before. You're like, you want the Frimpong, you want the Grimaldo, you want the Boniface, you want the Patrick Schick, whoever it is.
You want the Xabi Alonso if they could give a manager card.
Yes, I mean certainly that is that's kind of the idea.
Yeah, no, yeah. I mean that sold out fast. I don't know if that's a print run thing. I don't know if it's the design, but I've been sick, but I went on Twitter and I seen one of our American friends, I think, was complaining, going, "Oh no, it's sold out." I wasn't expecting that, so. Definitely the German hobby going strong as well.
Going strong as always. One thing we talked about last week was that Dynasty was coming out. We were talking about the teas they were doing, the 7 of 8 and the 6 of 8. and the 8 of 8 turned out to be nothing in particular.
No, it's Dynasty again, basically. The
Yeah,
only kind of difference, obviously, the design is different every year. People have their preferences and etc. Last year they improved the patches a lot. This year that has continued, because prior to that there was a lot of napkin action going on for Dynasty, and
yeah.
they obviously added in legend autographs, which I haven't actually seen one of those hit yet. The Nigel Mansell, I don't think I've seen one hit. I've seen some nice 101s come out of the product. I've seen some nice cards, but it does very much the same again in terms of
Yeah,
Dynasty.
you were slightly worried about the amount of white space being left for
Yeah, or
the
the lack of
drivers to
white
find
space.
it. Yeah,
Yeah, I haven't seen too many issues with cards as they came out. Really, there was definitely a few that were kind of fully on suit. You couldn't really see the autograph, but
yes.
for the most part, it's looked good. The cards have looked good.
Um, I like this. I haven't seen. I'm not exactly sure if this is true of the cards themselves, but I do like blue ink. I think it looks more. For some reason, it looks more real. Blue ink. It just looks like a machine could never do blue ink.
Okay.
Whereas sometimes black ink can be, I don't know. That's my own little. Uh,
I do think the start price of the box was a bit high, considering they haven't changed too much in it. But at the same time, I think people are like, I see breaks. They're kind of going for pretty much what the box price is, if that makes sense.
yes,
Obviously, breakers probably got it at a better price or whatever, but it doesn't like. I suppose they pushed it right to the wire of where it needed to be. I suppose
because the last couple of years on Dynasty, we've seen
the price dip.
um,
But like,
the price dip.
I suppose like it's hard to know. Like a high end set like that, it's very clear to kind of point out when 101s go off the board. So I guess that probably contributes a lot to the decline in price. Oh, it's sold out now on the top site. That's I didn't notice that yet, so that's good.
Yeah, it's not a massive print run, so it is
Every
going to.
Especially with F1, the F1 crowd will
Yeah,
tell you. Like I could go online right now and find out every super that's been hit out of Chrome, probably to 90% accuracy. They document it all. So I'm sure Dynasty is the same.
yeah. Whereas I saw somebody was selling. Apologies, I don't know whose Instagram story I saw this on, but somebody was selling a box or thinking of opening a box of Panini Nobility Soccer.
Hmm.
And they had it in the hand. They're like, "Oh, rip to rip or not to rip," and it said 2 autographs per box. And I'd never seen a hobby box of Nobility before.
Yeah.
And with a set like Nobility, I've seen loads of autographs, on card autographs, various bits and bobs from it. So I kind of vaguely know what's out there, but I've no idea what's been hit and what hasn't been hit. So I could buy a box from 5 years ago or 8 years, 7 or 8 years ago,
Yeah.
and still kind of have hope. Whereas like something like Formula One Dynasty, the F1 fans know in 6 months or 8 months time exactly what's been hit and what hasn't been hit.
Yeah, they'll be able to tell you all of the possible outcomes of what's inside your box.
Yeah,
But
which is a different.
like, I like we've seen some like when Fanatics did the 10 on Fanatics Live, and they added the Mbappe super factor. I had a lot of like hardcores that have been in the soccer hobby for a long time message me going, the Mbappe super factor hasn't been hit in 2017 Crow. And it's
Mm,
like that's one of the kind of most known things, kind of. So even that goes kind of under the radar amongst the soccer community. Whereas the F1 community, I can tell you the Pad Pardashes that have not been hit out of 2020 Sapphire, the
yeah,
big one. So shout out
but
to them.
is that because with soccer initially there wasn't a lot of hobby interest in it? They were kind of just the releases were coming out. Some people were opening them. A small group of people were opening them, and there wasn't like the kind of massive social media spotlight on it that there
Probably,
was by the time F1 came out.
probably. But there's also, I would say, there's obviously less F1 products to follow.
True.
Um, and I'd say there's a smaller base of F1 fans. I think there's so many soccer collectors that like you can't get that information out to everyone either.
Yes. Yeah. True.
Yeah, the F1 is it's definitely more so an F1 thing. I think like the tighter product schedules, like in terms of releases, and they just kind of bunched together from day one and started
Mm.
documenting it, and they got basically F1 about it. They got very analytical and very specific, and it's what they do.
One thing I always really want to know is I always want to know about the cards that someone hit and we never heard about.
Oh, I love it. Like that
You
Mbappe
know?
could be off the board for many
Yeah.
years. Like, yeah, I'd love that.
Could have been hit day one, like
Yeah, 100%.
who knows? It could have been hit day one and thrown in the bin.
Oh my god, he's not going to amount to nothing.
Yeah, or
I'll get rid of
what's
a
this
101.
one? Yeah.
Yeah,
I
but
don't know.
yeah, you never know. Especially back then when apparently hobby boxes were struggling to sell for $90 back then. So it's like
Yeah.
when you have a price that low, anyone can get their hands on a box if they want a box. So like,
Yeah. Maybe someone's just looking for Messi or Ronaldo. They don't get one,
no,
they
but
throw the whole thing out.
maybe someone just wants a present for a kid for their birthday, and they go into a hobby shop and they like soccer, and it's $70, $90. Give that to the kid. He hits Mbappe, throws it in the bin because he's a kid,
Hmm.
and that's it. So you never know.
That's it.
You never know.
Yeah. He's holding it out the car window up to
And
the
it
sun
flies
to
out.
see the reflection of.
Have you ever lost
Pull
something out the car
over.
window?
Have I ever lost something out the car window? No, I can't say that I can.
I have.
Have you?
Yeah. I had a. It was a PlayStation game, maybe PlayStation 2, and I had my
No
memory card
way.
inside it. My memory card was inside it. We tried to retrieve it, couldn't retrieve it, which was devastating because the memory card had all the juice back then. But then we went into a local Smith's Toys superstore and we got ourselves a new game and a new memory card. There you go.
You were holding it out the window,
I can't remember how it happened. I think I was showing something and the window was open. Like it was a whole thing.
and it just kind of.
Gone. And it
Yeah.
was dark and it was impossible. We tried to find it. We really did try, but it wasn't to
Good
be.
lord.
I know.
Oh, there you are.
There you go.
Now you saw this on Twitter from Rick, who saw it from somebody else who looked at it on Card Ladder.
Yeah,
Yeah,
something like that.
which is so. We're just gonna
Start,
on this.
start on the right. You start on the right. You start on the right.
Come on now. I mean, Rick.
No, I'm telling
I'm
you,
not.
Jason. Start on the right. Click on the right. There we go.
We don't read from right to left. We're not Japanese.
No,
You read from
I
left
know.
to right.
Listen, don't be showing us what you know. Jason, what you're looking at here is the Card Ladder Soccer Index over the last 2 years.
So
It's
2 years ago, just for my own mind, it was March 2022.
Yeah, a bit mad to think 2 years ago was 2022. I feel like we've been in this hobby for 10 decades at this stage. But yeah, 2 years ago, the rate of growth minus 55%. And not looking too good. I think these are kind of following some of the kind of big cards, some of the kind of it's an
Right.
index. Like these are following some of the kind of, I guess, the same things you'd follow if you're trying to measure inflation. The
Right.
bread,
These
the
are
milk.
supposed to be like the blue chip.
Yeah, this must be some Mbappe
you know.
prisms, some Messi rookies,
Sure.
stuff like that.
Yeah.
So yeah, 2 years apart from February, right? So we had a bit of the absolute low point was February this year, and then I had a little bit of an uptick. If you see that, a little bit of it back on the rock.
Yes. Yeah. We hit
an inflection point. We've hit rock bottom, I guess, potentially. But yeah, if you look at that, Jason, it doesn't make for good viewing. You've been going on sports card nonsense for years now, talking soccer, and in the background of all of that has been this absolute slide of a diagram of data of the hobby, the soccer hobby, in absolute decline.
Interesting.
Right, and like any good data points, 2 years is not necessarily a good section of data. So if you then go back to what I believe, we can swap now. I believe this is this is all time. They've obviously started it in 2005. Premium sets didn't really come out until 2014.
Yeah.
There is the soccer hobby at a further back glance at over 1,000% growth in the long term. A lot of people want that short term, Jason. Long term is obviously the way to do it. Fascinating, isn't it?
Well, it is, because you can see that we're still way ahead of where we were going into the pandemic.
Yeah, it's the correction.
So.
The correction is happening for sure.
Yeah.
I would also say, like, I would like to see that same kind of data for NBA, etc., because I really do think
this could be a map that you could show me this and you could like cover the soccer thing and say this is the card market in general. Is this believable? And I would say yeah.
Yeah, because it does feel like 2021 was a peak across the board. There is, again, obviously it's very slight. We're going to need many months, maybe a couple of years, to see where the trend is going now. But it does look like it has kind of upticked a little bit for the first time, like since the pandemic boom. It's fascinating. Obviously, the soccer, like, to be honest, it's like that is the kind of data you would love to have in like 2017. Do you know what I mean? Like, you look at that, it's like, and if you're a person that believes in the sport of soccer, it's like, how was it ever that low for that long? If you know what I mean.
There's the growth of the soccer hobby in America and the growth of the hobby worldwide is basically the two effects there.
Yeah.
The Ted Lasso effect.
Yeah, no, right there. There's an X you could put there where our podcast started, and I don't want to jump the gun.
Yeah. You don't want to kind of make a causal statement, but
right there at the peak is when we start getting a little bit more ropey with our release dates of the podcast. And look, what's happened. And is it not true that just recently we've got back to our 2 day a week and look at that little uptick?
Wow.
There you
So
go.
it's kind of chicken and egg.
Who
Rick
knows?
very kindly in the comments has showed us what they use as their index.
Hmm.
So we can have a look here.
And it's funny because
2005.
there are cards here that, regardless of how the health of the hobby is, have just lost interest based on kind of
Yes,
people wrongly buying them in the first place. So that's how early we are with the data as well.
very much so. Very much so. I mean, you look at these World Cup stickers for Kylian Mbappe, they were a big deal at one time.
And not really now.
Not really so much now. Your Haaland foosballs were massively valuable at one time. Not really so much now.
$900 is still solid.
No, but they were crazy at a certain point.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, well, a few grand.
Yeah. Which, as if you're looking at percentages,
No, it's crazy. Yeah,
well up. You're
like Pulisic, like, with all due respect to our American friends, like you wouldn't judge the health of the soccer industry on Christian Pulisic's value.
If you're making the soccer hobby index in 2017, you'd probably put Christian Pulisic in there.
But then, is this part of it? You know what I mean? Like, is it still part of the overall? Like,
Sure.
I don't know. He did score at the weekend, though. He's an amazing player. It's obviously hard to put an index like this together. Like,
super difficult.
There are cards here I've absolute agreement with, but at the same time, it's like if they were the only ones on the list, you wouldn't have a decent spread of everything.
Yeah. And also, like, there's the main thing that's jumping out to me here is that at a certain point, the soccer sticker market diverged completely from the soccer market in general.
Yeah, we've been saying that for a while.
Which, is a crucial data point.
Yeah. Again, hard to do it, but I do think they've put in enough information here to give what I would also consider to be a very accurate. And if you go back to the graph as well, because if you think about this, like if you go back to the graph of, it's like in that kind of huge rise and peak, like people were chasing everything. Like there was base World Cup prisms selling for thousands. Like there was mad stuff going on.
Yeah.
That like this is the definition. This is not a decline. It's the definition of a correction. A lot of what happened in that peak was ridiculousness. Was crazy.
There were Adama Traore prism cards going for £100.
Mad money. So it's like this is a correction, but the growth is still there. Like people obviously, like, don't get me wrong, people lost a lot of money in that correction, but it's like,
yes, from here to here represents a big loss in money.
Yeah, but like a lot of that, like in some cases you might have bought a solid valuable card, whether it be a Messi rookie or whatever. Most of them are doing okay. They're healthy. They're still declined from their all-time highs, of course. But it's like if you look at the all-time high of an Adama Traore will never be hit again, most likely, kind of thing. Whereas other things kind of will. But yeah, no, it's interesting. That increase was kind of like all interest flew into soccer at once. No one really knew what they were doing. There was a lot of craziness going on. And there was definitely a correction going on, but I don't expect that graph to go back to the 2020 level by any means.
You can also see, just to
extrapolate information.
You can see the Jude class represented here. As the rookie classes get less and less kind of fertile, you can see that the market struggles to hold up under the pressure.
Yeah, I respect that.
At this point, like 2021, 22, you have all these players coming through, and it's like, wow. It's almost like the Jude class was absolute fuel to the fire of soccer. And then you go on a little bit and it's like, okay, maybe not Gavi, maybe not, and then I don't know. But what we've seen personally between the podcast, between card shows, between global interest in the hobby, the amount of people that you go to the national, the other people talking about soccer, and the amount of people putting on soccer related events, the interesting part for us has been this distance here.
Yeah.
Like we're still kind of, there's been, if you were to graph the kind of, we always talk about the market cap of soccer, it's massive compared to where it was 5 years ago.
It's so early. Like, it is mad to remember because like we've been so deep in it for so long that this is really a step back. And it is crazy to think like a lot of people like ourselves joined this journey during that crazy boom, which is that crazy
Yes.
boom led to a um, huge exposure for the hobby. Not just like obviously we were already in soccer, like we're deep in that, but it was like look at amateur hours party index, um, Billy Gilmore, um, but yeah, no, like that exposure kind of led people in, and that obviously pumped it up a lot because there was so many new people in that didn't even necessarily know what they were buying or what they were doing.
Hmm.
But that after the correction, there's a lot of people, as we said, a lot of the flippers left, but a lot of the people stayed. There is more
Completely.
people in the soccer hobby now due to that boom and exposure, etc., etc. A
Yeah.
correction in some of the print runs helps obviously the industry then in a positive way. We've seen that with like Panini Selects last year. We've seen it with even like Champions League Chrome last year wasn't crazy. It felt well priced, whatever. Some of the kind of key sets, World Cup Prism, regardless of the print run, was a success. People loved it. People went crazy. Messi obviously helped that. Because we remember in that graph there's a World Cup as well, Jason. We mustn't forget, which
Yes.
helps a lot. I don't know. It was I just seen that and thought it was really interesting, especially obviously the zoomed out because the 2 year one looks doom and gloom, but you can do that with any graph.
Yeah. I also think the the soccer hobby now has. I mean, this is not. This is obvious, but has loads more sets and loads more breakers, and there's a lot more people spending their money going into breaks or buying various boxes or collecting. There are so many more sets now that you can collect exactly what you want to collect, as opposed to everybody chasing. It's almost like I feel like when we first joined the soccer hobby in that kind of 2020 period, it was like you could pretty much index it because everyone was kind of chasing the same stuff. But then from the Jude class, there was kind of a widening out, and you saw all these different branches, whether it be stickers, whether it be ultra modern rookies, whether it be,
Vintage.
you know, vintage, whether it be Messi and Ronaldo, kind of goat stuff, whatever it was. All these strands came out. Whereas when we started, it was like everyone's kind of more or less chasing the same five or six things.
Adama
So
Traore and Pulisic.
yeah, so over time we've become less reliably measurable on an index, which speaks to the overall growth in the thing.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Um, because like say you have the what do you call it, like the S&P 500, as a stock index. The one thing that doesn't capture is that there are loads of, or it captures obliquely, but you can't actually see it clearly. Is that there are loads of other things you can do with your money instead of investing in the S&P 500.
Yeah.
You know, so that's very interesting stuff. Thank you
No.
to Enzo, Rick, whoever Rick saw it from, and Card Ladder.
Yeah. Thanks, guys.
Thank you to the production team for that one.
Elon Musk.
Elon Musk for buying Twitter and everything. Right. Do you want to talk about Jeff Wilson?
Yeah, I think I do. I know it's a bit almost a bit dated now, but Jeff Wilson got some flack, Jason, some flack on Twitter for backing out of $100,000 deal, Jason.
Wow.
Um, and yeah, without all the information fully, only the information we have in front of us, I wanted to just like pass a judgment one way or the other in favor of
Okay.
Jeff or against Jeff. So I think we should just do. I want to do a breakdown, Jason. I want to go through. I want cards, Jake's. He took a few days to decide. I'll get into it, right? So he posted this on Twitter, on X. I took a few days to decide if I should do this or not, and usually I try and stay out of drama. But this is a necessary to do, in my opinion. Even though he's a larger hobby influencer, doesn't mean he shouldn't be held accountable for his actions. Backed out of a six-figure deal with a client of mine. Do better, be better. Jeff Wilson. It ain't difficult to be a man of your word, right? So that's his take, and he drops a load of receipts, which of course no one likes to say, no one likes to do. But let's get into it. So he reaches out, he's DMing. This looks like Instagram, maybe could be Twitter, maybe Twitter.
It's fair,
Um,
yeah.
I have a price. Entertaining any offers. Look, entertaining any offers into six figures. Then he goes, "I'll pay 100K cash." Right? That's funny. That's like any offer at six figures. He gets the lowest possible six-figure offer, and he
Yes.
ultimately accepts it. I'd pay 100K cash for it, but that would be the max offer. Too much risk in my opinion to go above. Still a nice profit for your client over the course of a year. If he wants to do it, let me know. If not, no worries. I'm gonna call my client. Get back to you. Do you have any of these stuff that you do a trade? No, I'd want to do straight cash if we're doing it. but with 100k he can go and buy whatever he wants. Right? That's brilliant.
Right. So far, this is absolutely a nothing story.
No, nothing at all.
This is just he's talking to Jeff Wilson. I have a client. I'm selling this on behalf of a client. Jeff Wilson said, "I'm going to pay 100k cash."
Yeah, I'd pay 100k cash. Let me know if he wants to do it.
Right. Okay.
Sorry, next. Yeah. Oh, go back one.
Go back one.
Yeah, I think you did double.
No.
How many? Okay. No. Okay, we're here. Sorry. Hey, Jeff, it's a done deal. Congratulations on the pickup. My client's name is this. His Twitter, his Instagram, his phone. Let me know if you need anything else on my end. So this guy's a real middleman. And it's awesome. Thank you. Gosh, Vancouver's a long way away. I wish he was closer. I don't know anyone up there to pick it up. I wonder if he's traveling anywhere in Canada or the USA. We can do the exchange. I can call him tomorrow to discuss. I can call him to discuss tomorrow or next week. Right? Right. So Vancouver is a bit of a, he's like, oh, it's fucking event. Like, this is a big deal to get done. I don't really want to be going to Canada necessarily.
Yeah.
But right, that's fine.
Okay. So they've worked out a deal.
Yeah, you can figure
it out. Jeff just said it's in Vancouver.
That's a classic. Oh, you're not in America. Like, oh no, this is terrible.
Yeah.
Right.
He'll call him tomorrow. Just to say at this stage that
is that a done deal for you right now at this stage? I'll pay 100 cash. Hey Jeff, it's a done deal. Congratulations on the pickup. I feel like he's forcing. He's like, it's done.
Yes, I'm not on this. I'm not so far. I'm not.
And then Jeff says, "That's awesome. Thank you." Is that not almost like, oh great? He agreed. Brilliant, wonderful. Now, he did say, I'll call him to discuss tomorrow or next week. Are you saying in this regard, the deal's not done, in your opinion?
The deal's not done, no. I've seen many deals break down from this point.
Yeah, I agree with that. It's a bit...
Because when people start to work out delivery terms, payment terms, all that kind of stuff.
Who is this person kind of thing?
Yeah. So the deal ain't done, awesome. The deal's done.
Yeah, we've all agreed on 100k. That's amazing. I'll call him tomorrow and we'll figure it out. We'll get it across the line.
Figure out the logistics.
Because I feel like this fella has sent him out. It's a done deal. Congratulations on the pick. He's trying to be like, it's done. It's great.
Yes.
And it's like, there's actually a huge thing that still needs to happen here, which involves 100 grand.
Yeah. So then,
right.
There's this next one, and then there's also there's a little coda here that Cars Jake has said he probably should have included in the main tweet. So
yeah, we'll do it. Yeah, let's get to the next one.
All right.
So this looks like a WhatsApp message that Jeff sent directly to the actual person who owns the card. Hey blank, I'm terribly sorry, but I'm not going to move forward with the cash deal right now. Something surfaced at one of my businesses a couple of days ago that I'm going to need to put the cash towards. And that was later then revealed it was a big tax bill he wasn't expecting, right? Which we'll get into. We'll get too deep into it. We'll get into it. I know you were interested in the trade. I don't believe I have the cards and inventory that you wanted, but when you let me know when you were thinking, and I'll see if I come across them. Otherwise, I'm happy to revisit this down the road. Again, apologies for the change in plans. So Jeff has said, you know what? I'm not going to give you 100k.
Right. And then
I've been perplexed. This other thing was, let me see what that was. This is the thing that should have been added in.
So just to say, part of included this. Card Jake says should have included this in the main tweet. I would have flown myself. That meant getting it done. Shipping it wasn't an issue. Just would have been less stressful for an in-person deal on both sides. He knew where it was located. So he's just saying that Vancouver is not was not flagged as a deal breaker earlier on in the conversation.
Yeah. Well, a deal is done, it would be through wire. If a deal is made, it would be done through wire. Would you be able to send someone to pick it up? My client job requires him to have almost no free time, and it would also save both of you a lot of stress. I know you're busy. New shop opening. Congrats on that, by the way. Blah, blah, blah. Yeah.
Yeah, and I will just say, obviously there's, obviously whatever, but this is the 10th of March at 9:28 p.m. This extra thing gets added in a few hours later. I will say if you're going to publish conversations with people, you need to publish whole conversations because anything could be taken out of context.
Yeah, I wouldn't publish any conversations, but I agree.
No, personally, I don't agree with this at all.
Yeah, okay.
This is like, I just think this is anyway. Where's Jeff's response?
Yeah, it's in this thread. So if you scroll down a bit, wait, go on to Jeff's replies. Like if you go up, scroll up, and then go to replies, you'll find it. Scroll down a little bit. Here we go. Go down a little bit more. That's not the one. That's the second one. Here we go. Right there. I don't think this is very fair. I did make an offer, but never spoke directly to the seller, who you later told me was 4,000 miles away and wanted me to pick up the card in person. So I feel like Vancouver was a bit of a problem, low key, or was a good kind of to throw in there. Soon after I got the seller's contact info, I let them know I wasn't going to move forward with the cash offer after all, due to a larger expected tax bill due in March 15th, but would look at other means to get the deal done, i.e., maybe waiting down the line. Other people kind of pissed him on. This fella said, "Is this true? Expect him to go to Vancouver." And then he's like, "You didn't have to go to Vancouver. We would have got the deal done." All this kind of malarkey, Jason.
Yeah. I see someone else here that Jeff responded. Someone said, "How poor is your liquidity management that you go from purchasing a baseball card to needing money for a business?" Hope all as well at Jeff Wilson. Yeah.
We can speak for personal experience on that one though. Like, there's been many a time me and you are like, let's buy this card, let's do this, and then we decide against it, and then a few weeks later we're spending a load of money, and we're like, thank God we didn't buy that card.
Yes.
We'd have felt like idiots, you
Yeah.
know. And I don't think we've ever told someone, like, the closest we came to something similar to that would have been like at the National, we wanted the Pele dynasties,
Uh-huh.
and we were like, we're gonna come back tomorrow, we're gonna talk to you, maybe we'll get something done, and then we just never did. And again, even in that situation, we got back from the National, we ended up with a bill as well, something to pay, and we were like, it's a good thing we don't have two Pele dynasties with cash locked into them
Yeah,
right
yeah,
now.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So it's
Yeah,
like
yeah.
that does happen when you're upbringing in, I suppose, this world. As far as it being a tax bill, he wasn't expecting. I think someone said, "Get better accountants." I can speak to that. It's very difficult. It's very difficult to get really good accountants.
Very difficult, yeah. It's hard to get the
Um,
help.
to be honest, for me, I understand the disappointment of that because it was, I would say, very close to a deal.
Mm.
I think the middleman on his end saying, "Congratulations on your pickup, it's a done deal," that it was kind of handing some of the keys to the house and running away.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
ultimately, without, because a lot of people are like, I think most people, I'm not really, maybe I need to look at it again, but I felt like most people were at Jeff. A lot of people said, like, how are people defending Jeff? Um, in that instance, which is a bit much. In my opinion, it sounds like the middleman was counting his split and is devastated that his split is not coming to him. That's what that sounded like.
Absolutely. Look, it's hurtful when deals like this fall apart. Everyone gets hurt,
And it's a
but
big deal.
it's a big deal, and it's a whatever. Obviously, if you're a middleman, you're trying to make the deal happen. It's a big deal. The
And of
whole lot.
course, you would personally fly it from Vancouver. I believe that.
Yeah, it's a
And what
crushing
your percentage
disappointment.
is.
You have your frequent flyer card ready to go.
Yeah.
I do. The interesting thing is, I think the original tweet, um, from Cards Jakes, who I don't know anything about, or
No, nothing at all.
whatever.
Nothing at all.
Like, no,
He could be the best guy in the hobby. We don't know.
could be the best guy in the hobby, could be the worst guy in the hobby. No idea, and it's not. I'm not really interested in who he is. But the thing, even though he's a larger hobby influencer, doesn't mean he shouldn't be held accountable for his actions. That kind of, you know, um, that has another side to it as well, which is
Mm.
that everyone I read these comments, and I can nearly see the people licking their lips writing the tweets.
Yeah, they just wanted to
Like,
go at Jeff.
they're so excited to get their kicks
Mm.
in at him.
And like,
Oh, it must be hard. Oh, how's your cash flow management? You need 100 grand. Yeah, I'll get your money up, big dog. Meanwhile, like, who are they?
yeah. And I also, for Cards Jake, like, he might have been getting a very nice percentage on it because he said like his client has zero time to do anything pretty much because of his job. That it's
Hmm.
like, let's say it's 10%, for example. I don't know what kind of, I assume if it's 10%, you just be on eBay or Golden or something. But let's say it's 10%, and he was thinking 10K. You know, he could have some shit that he needs that 10K for, and it could really be like, fuck that he's not getting
Yeah,
it. You know what I mean? Like, that could have been a
and
big
he
thing.
did ask. He asked for trades as part of it. So there's that's maybe he's not. Maybe he needs one. Maybe he doesn't need one. Maybe he's just trying to get a deal done for his friend.
No,
Whatever it
hundred
is.
percent, 100%. But it's like, I think if you're, and obviously there's a lot of factors in it, but like Jason, if you're a middleman, if you're someone that has clients and these are big, we're talking about big 6-figure cards here. This is a
Yeah,
lot,
yeah, yeah.
and like Jeff is good for it. Like, I'd imagine he does buy 6-figure cards
Oh, by
mostly.
day he invests in
Yeah,
tech companies.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is something. I think something else is kind of at play here because I think if you're a middleman, you don't muddy your reputation with someone that is going to be a potential buyer in future for other clients and other cards. Do you know what I mean? Like, this is someone
Yes.
huge in the hobby that is basically your exact clientele, exactly who you want to sell to, who you want to put your sellers in touch to, etc., etc.
Yeah.
that I don't know, just it felt very messy, and it felt like, as you were saying, on the flip side of the coin, because of who Jeff is, that's why it became this kind of public attack versus
Yeah,
a deal breaking down is upsetting. Don't get me wrong. Anyone is upset when you have a deal lined up and you're almost counting the
yes.
money, you're planning what to do with it, etc. But at the same time, until it's done, it's not done.
But like, backed out of a 6-figure deal. Like my I know someone who was
Ooh,
selling a house and buying a house, right?
okay,
Just very recently.
right.
Um, got a
Was it
sale
you?
agreed. It wasn't me. But
You're not in
got
real
a
estate.
got a sale agreed on their own house.
Oh wow.
Agreed to purchase another house, and then the people buying their house backed out,
Oh no.
so they could no longer afford to buy the other house, right?
So they backed out with buying the other house as
So
well.
they backed out buying the other house.
Yeah. So everyone's disappointed.
But so that's like
As close an example as we could
as
kind of
close
pull
as
out.
you can get.
A
But
six
it's
figure
like
deal.
it's just what happens. A deal is not a deal until the paper is signed and the money is
Yeah,
transferred.
that's it.
And the idea, like, because I'm looking here at card jigs, and it says a super high end sports card dealer. I don't understand how you could be a super high end dealer or a dealer of anything, whether you're selling apples and bananas in the market or you're
Yeah.
selling
And not
super high end
understand that.
sports cards, and not understand that. That
Not
is
have
crazy
experience
to
in it.
me.
That's why I
Yeah,
feel like maybe it was just more of a sensitive thing, and he might have actually really needed this deal to be done, kind of a thing. And it just because he even said left it for a few days, wasn't going to say anything, but it's like he knew better. It feels like,
yeah. You kind of let the devil on the shoulder win there, I think.
yeah, and he shouldn't have at all.
Yeah, because I think generally as well, you're whatever about ruining. You may say, I never want to. I'm not even going to give Jeff Wilson the time of day in future. I could have his exact card that he wants, and I'm not selling it to him.
Mm,
But if you're a super high end sports card
dealer.
dealer, then presumably you have other clients who are interested in those kind of deals, and those kind of clients don't appreciate their dirty laundry being aired if they displease you. You're not the
Yeah,
judge, jury, and executioner to
yeah.
go
I
out
can't
and
imagine any of that went well for him in the aftermath. Really,
no.
not
It's
good.
it's it's tough.
I just wanted to defend Jeff a little bit up here,
Yeah,
because I did think a lot of people were like, "How can you defend Jeff? He's a scumbag backing out with a deal." And it was like, just the message of like, "Congratulations on your pickup, deal done," was like too eager. And not that that caused anything, but I'm just saying it was very much. Obviously, he said he paid 100K, etc. But yeah, shit does come up. Deals don't happen, especially you think of the logistics. Like, I think if you wanted to buy a card and you found it was in Vancouver, you'd be a little bit like, "Oh fuck's sake." These
yeah.
Canadians. Sorry, someone in Canada said stop taking shots at the Canadians. I had to know.
No, yeah. It's weird. Like, obviously, if people are.
Like,
I've
it's a
looking
mate.
at
I
the.
understand. If someone said to you, Jason, I'm going to buy this off you for 100 grand, and then the next day they're like, actually, I'm not, you'd be fuming.
You'd
But
be
like, you
absolutely
wouldn't,
fuming. You'd be
you would be
devastated.
fuming. Yeah, you'd be devastated. Like, in fairness. But it's like, has the other person, does he deserve to be completely banished from the hobby? Not necessarily.
Yeah, and like,
Like,
we've made fun of Jeff Wilson a lot on the
oh,
podcast
come on.
because he sets
He's a
himself up
character.
for it. He knows
He
he
does.
does.
Tom Brady wouldn't even go to the shop after promising. That's what That's what I'm hearing.
Tom Brady's like, I was really hoping to sell that card, but he wouldn't go to Vancouver
I didn't realize. No, I didn't realize the shop was in
in
was in
Atlanta.
Austin
Yeah,
or whatever. Yeah. Tom Brady's
but
like, oh, I didn't. That's a deal breaker for me. These things
um,
happen.
it's tough. Yeah, I will say I always think whenever you have someone, and obviously like our name is on the podcast, so I'm a bit biased on this. But whenever
Mm,
I see someone whose full name is out there everywhere being
mm,
attacked by a load of people who are hiding behind aliases,
yeah,
I generally side with the person who's a public figure
that's
because
a
it's
fair.
very, very easy to talk shit behind.
Be a secretive sport card dealer.
Yeah, I mean, this guy has Card Jakes does have his name there, so I'm not talking about him, but other people on
Yeah,
Twitter and Instagram and stuff that you see, it's like,
the mob.
it'd be what's that?
The mob. I said the mob. The
The
Twitter mob.
mob, yeah, the mob. It's like, who are you? It's easy to just sit there and
Go fuck
and
Jeff
talk.
Wilson at his big shop, and it's like, what are you talking about?
Yeah,
Jeff's doing it. Like, he's doing it, whether you like it or not. He's doing it.
but you know what? At the same time, it would have been nice to get that deal, see that deal get done.
Yeah, 100%. I'd love to know what the card was. I
Yeah,
like that he didn't muddy the card. He was like, I'm gonna keep this card because if you
I
say
still
it's
got
a
it.
101, this is like now that card is tainted across the
Mm.
board. Fascinating.
Yeah,
Fascinating.
and I love all the people who can't believe that something came up at the business.
Oh,
It's
I
like
can't remember.
100 grand
This
is
happened.
still 100 grand. Like,
Yeah, facts. And there are just rainy days. Like there's just it is a weird one. It is a weird one because when you spend 100 grand, etc., that you're not expecting to spend, then you're like, you don't have that discretionary 100 grand. Do you know what I mean? Like even if you have money, it's like I know I can't. I kind of had that extra, a
Yeah.
significant amount of. It's
I thought that I just had
that
that. I
works with
thought that
any
was
budget,
yeah.
and like everyone has experience. So that's what's annoying. If you bought a card on eBay and you got hit with like a €30 tax that you weren't expecting, now you're like, I'm not gonna go and do this. You know what I mean? You're gonna
Yeah.
come on,
You
come
you
on.
you 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 go from, you're in a buy sell trade thread on Twitter, and you're like looking for Zidane autos, and
Mm.
then that's at like 7 a.m. You get in the truck, you go out to work, you break down on the highway, you realize the truck needs a new set of tires, and you go back into buy sell trade selling these Zidane autos,
For 50 quid,
DM for
good
50
deal.
quid, and all of a sudden you've
You've changed. Your
because
circumstances have changed.
shit happens. That's basically the message
And
across the board. Is shit
what
happens.
upsets me is like, again, if you're selling high end sports collectibles, Jeff Wilson is a guy who will probably buy them for the next 5-10 years plus. Do you know what I mean? So it's like, it's not in your interest. This is what makes no sense. It's not in your interest to drag him because he is gonna buy your cards eventually. Some of them, whether it's this one, whether it's another one, like it's gonna be. And again, you could say, do you know what? After this, you backed out of this deal. I'm spiteful to you. I'm not gonna sell
Yeah.
nothing to you anymore. But it's like, I don't know. I just thought Jeff needed a bit of saving there a little bit on the podcast. I think we're happy to poke fun at him when we can. I think it's fair enough to just be like, eh. And I'm interested to hear people. I want people to tell us, like, are we way wrong? Are we siding with him because we see ourselves in him, Jason? You know what I mean? Public
Yeah,
figure.
yeah.
I don't think I've ever said I'll give you X for a card and then backed out of it. But at the same time, I haven't been blindsided. I haven't been doing 100k card deals, and I haven't been blindsided by unexpected costs.
Yeah, but you've definitely had the experience of being at a card show negotiating with somebody, and they try and rush the deal through.
Yeah,
They go, right, so 100 quid then. Are we saying 100 quid is good? And you go, well, no, hang on. I
haven't even looked at it yet.
I'm just reading a comp. I didn't tell you.
I didn't say
You
no.
know.
Yeah, no, I agree. The art of negotiations, one of the most important things in this here hobby, and I think that there's a lesson in there for us all.
Yeah.
There you go.
And the lesson also for dealers, I think, if you're a dealer, like, it's easy to see the person you're selling for as your client, but really the buyer and the seller are both your clients.
That's the one, Jason. That's it.
They are.
I tried to get there, but I couldn't do it like that. That's exactly the point.
Right.
You are trying to. Yeah. No, I can't add to that. Come on.
Will we go out with a high? Will we leave it there for Soccer United episode 209?
I think we can. Looking forward to tonight's Champions League action. Let's see if Arsenal can overturn the first leg deficit. Yeah, that's it.
Absolutely. There's only one way in the football lexicon. There are some things that there's only one way to phrase.
Oh yeah, in the hobby, you had to pull something out of your hat, whereas we could both say the same thing in the football realm. I have a lot to learn. I'll be sipping on M-Sip and seeing if the Gunners can do it. I'm wondering, Jason, would they rather win the Premier League title or the Champions League title this season? That's what I'd like to know. What do you think?
I think if you're Mikel Arteta, I think you look and you go, I'll have with the squad I have, the average age, the recruitment that I've been allowed to do over the last couple of years, I think I could maybe win the Premier League next year or the year after or the year after. I don't think I'm going to have a Champions League set of circumstances line up between hitting form at the right time of the season, the relatively weak field at the top end of the competition. I think if you're Arsenal, you think this could be our one chance in 10 or 20 years to win the Champions League. The Premier League will have another crack at next season.
I agree with that. I think Arsenal fans would rather Champions League. They're one of the few English clubs at the top table that don't have that on their books, and they'd like to do it. They've already won the Premier League unbeaten, so what do they need another one of those for? Do you know?
Yeah.
All right, Jason, listen, we can end it on that. Maybe not the high that we could have ended on, but I wanted to throw it in.
You know, for me, obviously, I know a lot of the listeners think that I love talking about Arsenal. So I'm glad you brought it up.
There's another game on tonight, is that all?
Yes.
I believe there is.
Dortmund PSV, is it? No, it's Barca Napoli.
No, that's a game. But I won't be watching
Napoli
that
tonight.
one. I won't be watching that one. All right, come on, Jason. That's
all right. Are we doing this? Is a one podcast week? Yes.
Yeah, I'm not going to be able to do 2 this week.
Okay, special announcement. This is a one podcast week, so we're back next Monday for episode 210, and I think we'll make it a Postcards United.
Oh wow! Yes, please.
because I'd like to hear from all the people out there. So, all right, we'll see you on Monday. Enzo, enjoy the rest of your week.
Yeah, same to you.